Good evening, friends. Welcome to Resume Revamp, our online webinar on resume preparation. As a company providing educational services to the students across Kerala, we often get bombarded with infinite requests to help our students in making a proper resume. A resume, as you might know, in today's highly competitive job market, a well-crafted resume can be the key that opens doors to different opportunities. It serves as a powerful tool that showcases your skills, experience, and achievements to potential employees, making a strong first impression. However, crafting an impressive resume is no easy task. It requires careful thought, strategic planning, and deep understanding of what employers are looking for in a candidate. During this session, we'll dive deep into the art of resume preparation and uncover valuable insights from our esteemed speaker. We'll explore the essential elements that make a resume stand out, discuss the latest trends and best practices, and learn how to tailor our resumes to different industries and positions. Whether you are a recent graduate entering the job market for the first time, whether you are a seasoned professional seeking new challenges, or someone looking to make a career change, this session will provide you with valuable tips and techniques to enhance your resume and boost your chances of landing that dream job. To discuss with you on everything about making a great resume, I have here with me today our esteemed guest and my dear friend, Mr. Abhinav Ajit. Abhinav is a 2023 mechanical engineering master's student at the famous Purdue University in the US. He has also interned with world-renowned companies like Bosch and ANSYS. Even though his hard work and perseverance has landed him in his dream roles, it is his outstanding resume that spoke for him and gave all the HRs his first impression. So I couldn't find anyone who is more apt in taking this session on resume preparation other than him. I wholeheartedly welcome Abhinav to this interactive webinar. Welcome, Abhinav.
Thank you, Adi. Thank you for the warm welcome. Okay, so hi guys. So I'm Abhinav. You can call me as Abhi. Okay. So I was Adi's classmate back in undergrad, and after that I went for masters in US. I'm presently a student as well. Also doing research at Purdue in mechanical engineering. I'm planning to graduate hopefully in December 2023 because of my research and all this stuff. But I think I can graduate. Okay. Okay, so without further ado, we can directly go to the resume revamp session, right? Okay. Okay, so yeah, can we start? Can I start, Adi?
Sure. Let's start from the basic, Abhinav. Can you explain what is a resume and at what time of a candidate's life journey should he be in possession of a resume and stuff like that?
That's a really good question, Adi. Like, okay, what is the purpose of a resume? Like, I also thought about it a lot. What's the purpose of a resume? So actually, why do you need a resume? The whole purpose of a resume is actually to sell yourself. Consider you as a product in the market and the customer wants to buy you. So you want to showcase what all benefits you have compared to the other competitors and make the customer buy you. Like say you are a customer, you went to a car showroom and there are a lot of cars available in the market, right? So in order consider you as a car and customer wants to buy you. So the brochure the car has is the resume, or what all features that you have, or what all things that makes you different from the others, makes you a product. Similar in the job scenario or in the industry, you want to make a resume that makes you stand out from other people or other your competition or your friends. So in order to stand out, you need to have an impressive resume, or at least a resume that the employers can look into and say, oh, this looks good from compared to all the competition. So that's the whole purpose. So selling yourself is the main purpose of building a resume. And in this day and age, everyone has a good resume. So people ask, like, what does a good resume look like? So the answer is that there is no answer to that question. You know why? Because every resume should be tailored according to job requirements. I'll give you an example. Okay, so let me share my screen real quick. Okay, let's see. Okay. I hope you can see my screen. Listen, Adi, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Okay, say in this day and age, everyone should be in LinkedIn. Okay, So most of the jobs are posted in LinkedIn. Say if you want to apply for a role, you go to jobs in LinkedIn and you search, say, product development engineer. And you search, you are looking for an internship, and see there are a lot of companies listed here, right? And say if you want to apply for Tesla, Elon Musk company, okay, and you see, you go to the job description. So this is what you will do at Tesla. So what you need to do is that you need to tailor your resume according to these requirements of the company. So why I'm saying is like if you make a general resume and apply to all the companies out there, they don't even see your resume. You know why? Before the employer sees your resume, it's the ATS, applicant tracking services by Amazon. These kind of services that actually filter your resume. And if your resume passes that check, then only the recruiter will at least see your resume. So that's where the tailoring of the resume comes into place. So if you see, so for example, if I'm applying for this job, they are asking perform laboratory tests or work with CAD on a regular basis to design cell components. So if you are a mechanical engineer, you might be knowing softwares like SolidWorks or say CATIA. So when they explicitly mention like this, you need to tailor your resume and you need to add these points like your profession in, if you are proficient in SolidWorks or CATIA or something, you need to add that. You shouldn't add this to every resume that you make, because you are applying to this specific portion and you need to tailor your resume like that. Say they are also looking for a BS degree. Okay, you have a BS degree or you're currently pursuing a BS degree, bachelor's degree. And say now they mentioned that they preferably CATIA or SolidWorks. So if you mention these, if you're proficient, don't mention it. Okay, what I see is that most people simply mention CATIA and SolidWorks, okay, without knowledge. You know what will happen? Maybe you will pass that ATS system, okay. Then you go to a technical interview. For Tesla, I think there are like 3 to 5 levels of interview. So if you go to a technical interview, they will give application level questions. They won't directly ask you what is this feature in CATIA or what is this feature in SolidWorks. They will give you a problem what's happening in the Tesla, and then the technical interviewers know how you solve it. And if you like bluff things up and in your resume, they'll directly know that you are like just made up your resume like that and you don't even have that skill. So first of all, don't lie in your resume, okay? You can pass that test, but at the end you won't qualify for the interview and you get ashamed in front of all the recruiters there. R&D experience. So when they mention R&D experience, you just have to mention, if you have any research experience back in college or you're doing research right now, you can mention that in your resume. That's a plus point. Okay, so I'm just talking about stuff, right? Why don't I show you a resume and see how different it is? Okay. Okay. This is a sample resume, okay? Okay, let me be honest. I just pulled that up from the internet only, like Google, okay? So what's wrong with the resume? First of all, okay, there are a lot of white spaces in this resume. The thing is that an average recruiter only, if they get to look at your resume, they only look for around 6 to 8 seconds. So in the 6 to 8 seconds, they won't, so they see a lot of white space. They think like you are not that qualified. Or most questions that people ask me is that, oh, okay, I have learned a lot of things in college. Okay. And when I put that in my resume, it crosses 2 pages. No. When a recruiter has only 8 seconds to see your resume, then how can he read 2 pages? So the whole point of resume is the art of compressing everything into a single page. It is the most difficult part because you might have a lot of things to put in your resume, and compressing what is relevant and what is not relevant is the first thing. So see in this resume, if you look at here, okay, he has a summary. Okay, if you are applying for Tesla, I'm giving an example. Teslas do require a summary like this. So that's actually a good thing that he wrote. Secondly, the order of this is like not good. That's what I'm saying. Say accomplishment should be on the end, but at the same time he's put in the first place. That's actually I would say a red flag kind of thing. Or we can say the job title. This, I mean, you see. So if I give an example, okay, job title and utilizing development of front end with client side. Here, what happens that the normal human tendency is to look for numbers. There are no numbers here. When the whole industry is running on billions and millions of dollars, or say say you worked on a project, you worked on a software that improves the efficiency 20%. When there are numbers included in the resume, that makes a whole lot of sense. Here, there are no numbers written. Here, there are no amount of money improved or profits written. So you don't, at the end of the day, the whole industry is for making money, right? So if you don't add any value proposition to your resume, what's the point of your resume? You are not selling yourself well, right? So let me go to, okay, so this is actually an example for a bad resume. So if I take another example, say, okay, this resume, let's see. Okay, this is the same one. Okay, this looks like a good resume, I should say, but you know what's the issue? There are a lot of things written here. So when you see this thing, okay, his description is good, but who reads all these things? I won't read this. If I am a recruiter, I won't read all these things. I just look for numbers. Okay, he doesn't, he only, okay, he has this number. Then what? Okay, he has some kind of foundation thing, SAS thing, okay. What? Then some languages. That's it. I won't, I mean, my I only goes to here. I won't read the whole thing. Okay, I saw the 10+ years. Okay, that's good. So this is a good resume. I'm not saying this is bad by any means, but considering the competition right now, it doesn't sell well. Okay. So I'll give another example, a comparison. Another thing I see is that most nowadays what youngsters do right now is that they just go to Canva, download a template and make a resume like this on the right hand side. You saw that? This can be made within 10 minutes. Oh, you don't even have to wait, write all these points. Ask ChatGPT to write the points and it will write it for you. The thing is done in like 5 minutes. So if you see the left on the left side, this is actually an example of really good resume. You know why? First of all, it's not fancy. Nobody requires a fancy resume. It's the content that matters more than resume. Say if you see the resume, say 200%, that's a number. $4 million department budget, numbers. 75K cost savings of $75,000 US. So he is, see this point, identify steps to reduce return rates by 10%. That's a good number, and resulting in an eventual $75,000 cost savings. So he made an impact in the industry. At least that's what he wrote. So the quantifying the points makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying you need to see these points, spearheaded, promoted, identified. These are keywords, okay? You don't have to memorize all these keywords. Just ask ChatGPT to write this for you. If I'm in your shoes, I would definitely ask ChatGPT to write all these points. But first of all, you need to have these points. You just have this accomplishment to write in your resume, right? So don't make things, okay? You can use ChatGPT. I'm not saying you shouldn't ask ChatGPT, but you should ask ChatGPT to, in a good way, to write points like this. Okay, so I think I'm saying a lot of things that might make you confused. Okay, so I think the best solution to this is actually showing my resume that worked for me. Okay, so this is kind of my old resume. It's not my latest resume. Okay. First of all, don't copy this resume because I wrote this for a specific company and it changes from company to company, and I have made a lot of changes to this resume as well. So this is not the perfect edition, but this is my resume that worked for me for both companies. So like Adi told, I worked for 2 companies. One was Bosch and one was Ansys in US. So I worked for almost 1 year as an intern in both companies. Okay, 3 months in Bosch and like last 9 months in Ansys. So for both of these, the same thing happened. I submitted a resume online. It cleared the ATS checks. Then the recruiter saw it and I got an interview. So this is not an easy task. Okay, I applied for 500 companies and got only 1 offer. Even though I had a good resume, applied for around 500 companies and got only 1 offer. So it's not an easy task. So let me, split the things for you. Okay, first you have this resume, you write your name, bold, make it clear, okay? Then you define I hope you're making points or at least writing some points. Okay, that makes a lot of sense because I usually don't write any points in any webinars, but later when you think about it, you forget a lot of things, okay? So just make some points, okay? First you write your address. then you write your mobile number. Okay, then you write your email ID. When you write your email ID, just make sure that it's hyperlinked. In the Word, you can directly add a hyperlink. So when a recruiter clicks this, directly goes to mail. Add your LinkedIn details, add your Gmail or portfolio. So if you are a designer or something like that, or if you have a lot of pro points, I would say adding a portfolio makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, the next thing, education. Just make it clear. Okay, say instead I am applying for a job at Tesla. So this is my present qualifications. I am studying master's mechanical, concentration in design and manufacturing. I am applying for a manufacturing intern role. That's why I specified design and manufacturing. GPA doesn't matter. If it's bad GPA, don't mention it in your resume, okay? Only if it's good resume, only if it's good GPA about 3. In US, it's out of 4. In India, if like I would say above 8 is good. If you have above 8, mention that in your resume. Otherwise, don't mention that, okay? Relevant coursework. So I am applying for a manufacturing job. So they in the job description, they look for these kind of things. And I mentioned the relevant courses I took, not all the courses. I just mentioned what all courses are relevant to this. Next one, my undergrad. You know why I mentioned my undergrad? Because see, it has manufacturing. I took industrial engineering, sustainable energy analysis. These align with the values of Tesla. Tesla advocates sustainability. So I'm actually mentioning that I took a course in sustainability. It's a good point. It's a green flag for Elon Musk. Okay. So that's the first part. Okay, you mention education, make it clear, make it appealing, make it simple. Don't don't write a lot of things. See, my resume is only 1 page. See this? But it has a lot of things. I'm not saying mine is it's a perfect resume. I'm just saying this worked for me. That's why I'm showing this to you. Okay, coming to my first. So always, always mention your latest experience as top. So my latest company, when I wrote this resume, I was working at Ansys. Okay, so that's why it's written August 2022 present. So what's my company name? This is the company area that they're working on. Okay, first of all, like guys, like don't think that we are just having a radio communication, something like that. If you have any questions, just comment that, and Adi will look on that question. Okay. So I want this session to be interactive. I don't want you to keep you boring or something like that. So just make it interactive, or just type in what all, even if it's like dumb comments, doesn't matter. Just type in the comments. I'll look at it. Okay, next. The points, carrying out, setting up. These are all keywords. So these keywords make a whole lot of difference. So if you just search Google, say keywords for resume, you will get all these kind of words. Okay. Testing, okay, accuracy by increasing accuracy by 15%. Here I have a number. Reduction in diagnosis time by 25%. Here I have a number. So when ATS looks in your resume, if you have numbers, that makes a whole lot of difference. Add more numbers. Don't make up numbers, add more numbers. Setting up queries with the Ansys products having a market value of $15 billion. That's a number. I didn't single-handedly worked on this $15 billion market, but I was a part of this company that has a $15 billion market capitalization. So you are selling yourself here. I'm not making up this number. I have this number, but indirectly I am part of this huge number. That's how you sell yourself. Okay. Okay. And coming to the next company. Okay. So Bosch at Bosch, I was a manufacturing intern. Okay. Like I mentioned here. So here I worked on like 500 plus hand pumps for Caterpillar and John Deere. I worked on a testing station that produces 100,000 valves per year. These are numbers. So every point you write in your resume, make it more quantifiable, quantify it. And instead of just writing some random sentence, say, I'll show you an example. Okay. This point, this is actually a common sentence. Okay. This is a regular sentence, but what makes it different is that I mentioned battery management system, lithium ion cells. These are all like technical terms. So it makes sense. If you don't, in the worst case, write things like this, but the most cases try to quantify things. So if you're working in TCS or say Infosys or some investment or something, you will be working on some project that has some numbers, right? So or you will have some kind of mail that says like this is the market value, or this is the profits that the last month profits and all the things. Look at that kind of presentations and add and pull that numbers from that and include it in your resume. Nobody will question this, but if you have numbers, that makes a whole lot of difference. The same. So if you just check every single point, I added some kind of numbers. Okay. So I mean, adding to this resume thing, a lot of people actually ask me like, okay, about the jobs abroad, masters abroad, and all these kind of things. Okay. So when I was doing my undergrad back in Kerala, okay, back in India, I was like, I mean, I always try to build my resume for my masters. Okay. And my main goal at that time when I was in undergrad, my main goal was to go for higher studies in Germany, or at least in Europe or Germany, Sweden, or something like that. So for people like, if I want to go to Germany, I knew I had to learn German because most of the core courses there are in German. So I had actually, if you just see, I didn't mention I learned 7 languages, okay, including German. So these languages, you can mention that if you are like applying for Germany, you need to learn German at least, I think, B2 or C1 level. So learning a language is always an addition. I think like there are a lot of agencies out there or companies out there. Even Adi, I think your company offers something like that, right? I think I recently saw a course related to something like that, learning language or something. Is that true?
Yeah, Abhinav. We do provide foreign language, and it's like if you're done with your this section, I'll move on to the next question. Like just because you mentioned foreign language, we see it's funny because I myself am running a company, so I get a lot of resumes, and in the hobby section, we see people adding the hobbies as typical cliche hobbies like watching films, singing a song. Not saying that they are bad hobbies, but that doesn't make a difference. But recently we got a resume for a transcript. Proofreading the language or something, and in that very specifically it was written like hobbies was foreign language. I know so and so foreign language, my hobby is about learning foreign language, so it immediately catches the attention of me or any HR who is viewing this thing. So it's a funny thing that you mentioned foreign language. So what is your opinion on about adding the kind of hobbies, what to add in the hobbies? When I was myself making the resume in my college days, I used to copy paste my friends' hobbies and stuff. So what is your advice to the participants on what creative things they can add in the hobby section, Abhinav?
A lot of my friends actually, that's a really good question, Adi. Like a lot of my friends actually, even in India, in Kerala at least, met two of my friends yesterday, and they have the whole old bike called Yamaha RX 135, the famous bike. So they know how to repair that bike. Bike repairing is a good hobby. When you apply to a company, you are showcasing your passion at the same time you are selling yourself. Add hobbies like that instead of like saying Netflix and sing, like chill or like binge watching or something like that. If you add something that will add value to the company or to the employer, that will make a difference. That will make a difference. It doesn't have to be the bike repair thing. Okay, it can be small things. Say if you are good in art, or if you draw cars, or if you draw things or buildings or something like that. Art is actually can actually help in you be a good designer in future. So that is actually good hobby. So even in a regular hobby things or regular things that can actually in my resume what I wrote is that I didn't write my hobbies, I guess, but I think okay, clubs. I written a section called clubs. So I was in the SA Baja team at Purdue. So Tesla really likes people who are proficient in SA Baja racing thing. I think recently college in SCT, I guess. That college has that Baja thing, right? So if you're in a Baja team, that makes a lot of difference. Even our colleges, like GCB has the, what do you call the Pravega, Shellaco Marathon thing, right? So if you are in the team, that makes a lot of difference. So if you are in, say, so what is Boiler? So Boiler Clean Initiative. So Boiler Clean Initiative is actually a program at Purdue where you clean the college campus. It's actually a voluntary thing. But when you show your initiative, your management, your leadership skills, that indirectly means that you are a leader because you're taking the initiative to clean the campus. This is how you sell yourself in an indirect way. Don't directly mention that you're a leader. Nobody wants to see that. Indirectly, they know that you are part of it. So you are like, what do you call? You are kind of smart, or you are like a courage. You have that kind of courage. I was in like Purdue Rifle Club. So if you know how to shoot it, like there you can like try out the rifle shooting and all this stuff. So these kind of things actually add. So like it's not just selling yourself. Okay, when you are having a conversation with the recruiter or an interviewer, they will ask about your hobbies. Okay, I usually see this in American companies. They ask like what are your hobbies, and when you say you have rifle thing, you like flying, or you like golf, or you like pool or something like that, that starts up a conversation, an informal conversation that makes you more, what do you call, social compared to a product. Okay, so they don't just want like machines. They can actually, so they can they can replace you by automation, right? But what you should have some kind of social aspect in you that makes you different from the others. That's where the hobbies come into place. Similar thing, okay. Nowadays, even if you are say go for mechanical role, everybody needs to learn a learning language, like learn a programming language, say C++, Python, MATLAB. So what I see is that most people just go to Udemy or Coursera or say EDX and just do a simple course and add that to your resume. No, that doesn't work. Because when you go for an interview, they will give you a programming challenge. Most people who are done TCS interview, they know it. Or even in engineering, or even in MATLAB is an engineering software. So I worked at ANSYS. Okay, ANSYS, when you interview for ANSYS, they actually ask a application level question, and if you don't know how to use ANSYS, then if you wrote the ANSYS in your resume, then you will be ashamed in front of them. Okay.
Yeah, it's a big negative, I would say, Abhinav. It's writing something on the resume. Actually, the interviewer who sees your resume, he comes with the, from what I sorry for interrupting, Abhinav.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yep.
So when most of the time the interviewers who come to recruit the employees, they come with a set of questions, and after asking that, they want to ask the candidates questions, and to know more about the candidates. And actually the thing is that what you write on the resume gives them the tip to ask you questions. So if you like give them topics, you write in the resume those topics which you don't know anything about, then what do you say, you are jumping yourself to hell, man. Don't write it. Only write on the resume, especially in front of that which goes in front of the interviewer, only those things which you know very well, so that don't let the interviewer take the direction of the interview. You should be guiding the interviewer in the direction that you are well aware of. That's one point to note when you are sitting in the interview with the resume, with your resume in the hand of the interviewer, right? Only those things which you are very well aware of, you know those things from A to Z of a thing, then you can, ace the interview, you can impress the interviewer, and stuff like that. What do you think, Abhinav?
Spot on, spot on. Like I can't deny that. Say you are, so what you do is that you tell the interviewer you know all these things, and he asks upon that kind of things. It's not the interviewer he or she should ask you what all you know. It's you should. So if you only know Python, okay, I'm just saying I only know Python. I just indirectly tell to the interviewer that, okay, I did this course and I like the Python when I was doing that coding thing. I love it. Then he'll ask, okay, what all did he do? What all project did he work on? Then that's how you start a conversation. Similarly, okay, so you might be asking, okay, I'm a mechanical engineer. What's the point of doing a Python course? Okay, see this thing. So I work with a research group at Purdue, not a different one, on a battery management system. Okay, so what they do is that they actually check what all scenarios that make a battery blast. They actually do a safety check of the batteries that is used in Teslas and all these things. Okay, so when you have to so what happens is that you have, for that also you need to code in Python. So even being a mechanical engineer, I have to learn languages like Python just to work on projects involving batteries and all these things. So it is not just for IT jobs or say coding jobs. Code nowadays, like you can ask software like GPT to write codes for you, but at the end your creativity comes from your side. You can't. That's the thing.
It's right, Abhinav. It's a funny thing, like 2 days ago, my cousin actually, who is studying a degree course in zoology. Okay, zoology. They have actually the Python syllabus in their MSc degree or something. I mean, I was astonished on hearing this. She especially took zoology to escape the coding, problem, and she ended up in a field like, Python was essential. What I meant was that wherever you go in this contemporary job market, you need Python or at least any programming language. And I guess Python is a good place to start. What do you think, Abhinav?
Yeah, Python is when I was in my high school, I learned C++. My brother learned Python, and he always like says, okay, you should have learned Python in the first place. It was like outdated software, and Python is like a widespread software everybody is using right now. And I don't know, at that time my school chose that, but I'm happy that my brother learned Python. So he's doing computer science. Okay, I'm a mechanical engineer. He's a computer science engineer, and he likes coding and he likes Python. So. Yeah. So Python is a good language to start with. I mean, it's not just for CS or electrical or just for civil. It's for every branch. Okay, even if you want to say, like you told, you zoology also they require Python. So it's good to learn a language from a good reputable source. And yeah, I think Adi, you can provide more details on that to the.
Leading on to what you said before, if you're learning Python, don't go for learn Python in 5 days, learn Python in 1 week. Don't fall into such traps. If you're learning something, learn it properly from the correct source. You cannot learn. I don't think you can sustainably learn anything in 5 days or 2 days or anything. Okay. So Abhinav, asking another question. You previously mentioned that you should tailor your resume according to the industry that you're applying to.
Okay? Yes.
We are clear on that. And what about a participant has actually asked this question in the Google form? What about if you are applying to an abroad education, foreign education, something like that? Should you change your resume drastically, or a general resume is enough? What do you think? What is your opinion?
Okay, it depends upon the course you are applying to. Say if you are doing a course that involves research, then adding your details about the papers you published or patents you have makes sense. Say if you are you are applying for a PhD position or a research position. The work you did in the company, all these things doesn't matter. Say if you are applying for a job abroad, or say if you're applying for ANSYS, this research doesn't matter unless and until it's relevant to the job description. That's why I told, like, don't put everything in your resume. Okay, so why I put, so you might be asking, Abhi, so you put both this in the same page. You know why? First of all, it's relevant. It works for both. Because I was a teaching assistant at Purdue, and I taught like 40 plus students robotics. That is relevant to the industry. That's why I put that. I did the research. I'm presently doing research in augmented reality. Now I'm working on actually medical devices, robotic medical devices. That is relevant to the industry. That's why I put that point. So if it's, say, annotation, this actually a voluntary work I did with my professor, and it involves ML model and prediction. That's why I put that in the resume. Only relevant points you have to put. So like you asked, Adi, like if you're applying abroad, tailor. So if you're applying for a course, these kind of jobs, say you're working at TCS and you are applying for a master's mechanical engineering program or master's electrical engineering program at Technical University of Munich, Germany. The bugs you solved, the commits you did in Git doesn't make sense. What's the point of explaining that you committed this many codes or in Git, or you fix this many bugs? No, there's no use, right? So then people ask, like, okay, so you shouldn't mention your work experience at TCS or Investnet in your resume. You should, because otherwise the people will think that you had a lot of gap years. So if you okay, so you're working at TCS and your client is Jaguar Land Rover, and you worked on a project that involves improvement of Jaguar or Land Rovers, you worked on automation of some kind of thing, or you worked on electrical system, you worked on a MATLAB or Simulink project that involves JLR. That adds a lot of things to your, that makes sense. So if you are applying for a master's mechanical program and you apply, you told like you are committed these many things, or like what do you call, you publish these many codes, doesn't make any sense. That's where tailoring comes into place. What happens most of the cases is that people doesn't have anything to write in their resume. That's actually a sad thing to hear, but because you can't make things at the same time, you can't make your resume blank.
Okay, Abhinav, okay. I got two questions for you, Abhinav. Can you, briefly explain the difference between a resume and a CV? And that's one. And secondly, you mentioned about work experiences. What is your opinion, or what is your advice to those students who come with no work experience? They have been studying all their life. Say, if I took an MBA directly after BTech, I got no work experience, but an MBA, after an MBA course, work experience is very essential. So how can you cover this, work experience thing without, you got my point, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, resume, difference between resume and the CV. That's you need to understand the fundamental difference. Okay. What is resume? Resume is actually a summarized version of your CV. So usually when you are applying for a job, or when you are applying for a job, usually you use your resume instead of CV. So CV is like CV, there is no limitation to number of pages. You can like 3, 5, 10, 15 pages CV. You can write everything. So you want a competition in your high school, you can write that. So you write everything in your CV and not in your resume. Say, okay, so where it happens, okay, say if you're applying for a research, you are an academia, or you're applying to be a professor, you're applying to be an assistant professor. You have a lot of publications. It's like 10 to 15 publications. You list everything in your CV, your biodata, the whole thing. You can't list everything in one page, because at that time, the main point is to showcase what all you published. So if you're applying for a job, it's resume, not a CV, not a curriculum vitae. If you're applying for, so you might ask, okay, if you're applying for masters abroad, does resume or CV works well? I would say both of them work well. When you're applying for masters, you don't have to compress in one page, because the university will look in through your resume or your CV. So you can, so in CV you don't have to compress like this. Okay, you can like elaborate and make it bigger. It's easy to make it bigger, but in resume you have to compress everything into a single page. I would preferably say single page, because 8 seconds you can't flip your page. Secondly, you asked about work experience thing. Okay, so that question actually hits me personally, because like I was kind of a person who directly went for a master's after my undergrad without any work experience. Okay, I have worked in a startup. Okay, I'm not saying I didn't have any experience. I worked in a startup that I co-founded with my friend back in college. So that counts as an experience. So, but nowadays, like startups are like a lot of startups in colleges and all, and like people just start a startup just to get some activity points. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, you say if you worked on okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, this was my company when I was working at I worked for almost like what you call 3 years. Okay, so I have a lot of accomplishments when I worked in that startup, but I can't put everything in here in my resume. Since that product was a engineering product and it was in robotics, that's why I put this in my resume. And so you might be asking, okay, how do you showcase what all you did in your startup or in your company? I included everything in my portfolio that I linked here. This is how you compress things. So you might be asking, okay, is work experience required for masters? No. You know where the difference happens? You say Adi and I am applying for masters abroad. So I don't have an experience. Adi has like 3 years of experience at his company. So we both got admission in the same college, the same program. Then we both apply for full-time jobs after we graduate. Adi has a advantage that he has 3 years of experience in a company and I have 0. So if you are looking for industry, then it makes a lot of sense. So you might be asking, okay, Adi is applying for a manufacturing role and he has experience in IT industry. It doesn't count. So both Adi and I am in the same page because his experience is not relevant to the job he is applying to. And I don't have an experience. If he has an experience as a manufacturing, if he had an experience as a manufacturing engineer, at say Ashok Leyland or something back in India, it made a lot of sense. So you don't have to worry that you don't have any experience. It's the same. Okay, what happens is that if you are applying for a position and if it's like a really good role and people with 3 to 5 years experience apply for the role and you also apply, the chance of you getting picked up is less because that person might have, your competitor might have relevant experience related to that role. If it's not related to the role you're applying to, then both of you will be on the same page. I think that clears the doubt, right, Adi?
Yeah. So basically, what I want to add to that point is like, even if you don't have work experience, it would.
Hello. 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 Uh, uh, Audience, like, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. I think the Adi lost his network. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Can you give me 1 minute? I'll just ask him to if he's joining. Um, sorry to keep you waiting. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. I think he lost his network. Okay. Am I audible? Anyone?
Yes. Yeah,
Awesome. Okay. In the meantime, okay, guys. Like, I think he'll join. Okay. In the meantime, like, do you have any specific questions or anything related to resume or doubts? Just shoot that right now. Okay. Anyone? Don't feel bad. Okay. Like, I just want this to be informal. So just talk. Just ask like random questions if you have anything, or should I continue? Okay. Like, do you have any questions? Anyone? Okay. In that case, I will continue. Okay. Coming to this point. Okay. So like Adi mentioned, the thing is that like, even if you don't have any experience, it doesn't matter. As if you are like if you are applying for abroad programs or master's program, if you have relevant experience related to the program you're applying to, that makes a lot of difference. At the end, everyone wants to, most of the people wants to get a job, and when they apply for a job, if you have a relevant experience, it makes sense. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Say if you worked in an IT company for 3 years and you're applying for a product management role or say engineering role, no, doesn't make any difference. If you have a relevant experience, even if it's a small company or a startup, it makes a lot of difference because you have something to say during an interview. That makes a lot of difference. Okay. Okay. So coming to the next thing. Sorry, just a second. Can you? Okay, perfect. Okay, let's continue. I was like just talking. I thought it was my issue. I'm sorry.
No, it was it. So anyways, Abhinav, I guess it's time for the questionnaire section. So
Okay.
can you just summarize what all to be added to a resume, what all not to be added to a resume, and your opinion on the including creative things like multimedia and stuff like that. And after that, we'll go to the questionnaire session.
What was your last question? My opinion regarding what?
Like the creative elements such as infographics, multimedia, etc.
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay. So first of all, like I mentioned in my resume, I think all of you saw my resume. The thing is that make it simple, make it precise, make it one page. I prefer one pages. Add relevant experience depending on the job. Like I showed in LinkedIn, just pull up LinkedIn, see the job description, and write the points that only make sense to the employer. Just don't make a generic resume and apply to all these companies. You won't get past the ATS checkers. Just tailor according to your, add more numbers, even if it's small numbers, add that. You can always, even like a 10% increase in efficiency, that 10% makes a lot of difference. So quantify everything in your bullet points. You can use ChatGPT to write bullet points for you. It will write for you. Don't data and then what happened? Then add. Okay, if you're applying for, say, you're making a resume or a CV for a master's program in, say, Germany or Europe or something like that, add. If you learn German, add German to that. That makes a lot of difference. And like I told, if you want to add skills like programming skills like C++, Python, make sure you know the language before putting that in your resume. Don't just make up things and you just did the 3-hour course in Python in Udemy and you add Python, then no. That's a red flag. Next, coming to the multimedia. Okay, I started with the comparison of a resume that involves that was done in Canva and that was not done in Canva. Okay, I would always prefer, even though the one with the graphs, the pie charts, and all the things looks amazing, I would still prefer the traditional format that I also use, because at the end, they don't want to see the fancy resume. They just want to see the content in your resume and how legible it is. See, if you are going for a job career fair, you apply for, like, you give your resume to 500, 100 different companies. If you include your infographics and if you take color printouts, it's not economical. Okay. I would say making a black and white resume makes a lot of sense and makes it simpler compared to an infographic one. So I would personally prefer one with doesn't have any infographics, like, say, pie charts or something like that you usually use in Canva and all the things. Okay, you can just search Google and check for ATS friendly templates, and you get a lot of templates. You can download the templates and edit the templates. You don't have to. So for me, what happened is that I made the whole resume from scratch. So what is a negative thing that happens when you do is that your rollers in your resume, the rollers won't be perfect. So when you print it, it will look bad. So if you download the ATS things, or just search ATS friendly resumes in Google, download a template that looks just and that. Okay, if it qualifies ATS tags, then when you just edit the thing, that doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Okay, then what are the, like, is there any other question? I think I talked about the work experience thing, the gap thing. I think I explained.
And dear participants, Abhinav was saying his personal opinion. He's not saying like you should not add infographics. He said Abhinav prefers the black and white resume.
Like I told, there is no right or wrong here.
Yeah.
If you want to add, go. But I would personally prefer the black and white, the simple ones. And all my friends, I have seen a lot of my friends, like at least like 100 of my friends graduated, and all of their resumes are black and white. They all got into different companies across US, say Tesla's, Amazon, all these companies.
Okay. So our participant Aishwarya has asked a question. What about the things to be added in an MBA resume?
MBA.
Yeah, MBA.
I would say for MBA, what I see is that I'm in engineering. I'm not a management person as of now, but at least what I know is that experience is the main thing. Your work experience, say if you were a product manager back in India, or if you were technical program manager at a company. That if you have that experience, that makes a lot of sense. Say if you are working as software engineer and you are applying for an MBA role, I don't think it adds up any value to that resume. Second,
if you ask me, Sharia, like in MBA, there are so many certification courses available. See, for example, if you are a finance specialist, there is chartered financial analyst courses which you can take, which augment your resume and improves your chances of getting a job role. Yeah, please, Abhinav.
I think like companies like you are the Ed-Gaadi like companies, you should provide these kind of courses. I mean, it's not about the certificate that comes with that. Okay, it's not about a Six Sigma organization or something like that. It's the things that you learn that you can apply to the industry that matters. So
yeah,
I would say take a good agency. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, then. Yeah. Oh, Aishwarya, you don't have to call me sir. Okay, just call me Abhi. Okay. What else? Guys, don't be shy. Okay, just talk. Just be informal. Okay. If you think you can't ask in English, you can ask in Malayalam or any regional language. It's fine. Don't back yourself off on that.
okay. Questions. This is a time for questionnaire. So participants, please throw in your questions, please.
Come on, guys. This is your opportunity to ask anything.
Yeah. Just unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, I'm here for you. I mean, I'm spending time for you. And
I mean, for those of you who are interested in like foreign education or abroad education, I guess I can talk with Abhinav to get his schedule to, for a webinar. What do you say, Abhinav?
oh, we can do that, of course.
Yeah.
Is there any 5-minute countdown, Adi? Showing 5 minutes?
No.
No. Okay, awesome.
Participants, you can ask your questions. You can raise your doubts. If there is anything more you want to get cleared about your resume, please feel free.
Come on, guys. Like, don't be shy here. Like,
yeah.
And I know you have questions. I mean, you can't be a person without any questions. So, I mean, everything is based on opportunity. You strike at the right point, and if you don't ask at the right time, you lose that opportunity. That's the thing. If they don't have any questions, that means that my presentation was effective. I at least assume it like that.
Adding on to just because you don't have any questions, like everybody thinks that resume preparation is an overnight thing. You copy paste from your friend's resume from here, from there, and you present it to your interviewer. But no, actually, a resume preparation is a long process that starts from the moment you enter a.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Adi. This is my 50th version of my resume. 50th version.
Yeah.
It's like when you save a file, you say edited 1, edited 2, edited 3, like that. The 50th one, I just renamed it. So it's an overnight thing. Okay, you have to. So you might be asking like, how do you know how to write this resume? I got feedback from my friends, from recruiters. I asked recruiters what's wrong with my resume, and they point out, Abhi, this is wrong. This is wrong. You can't make a perfect resume, okay? Every time now, also when I show my resume to some recruiter, they will say, Abhi, this is wrong. Some other recruiter will say this is right. So there's no like even ground here. Like you just have to like go by intuition. Like this looks good and this fits. I mean, if it works, then you don't have to change. Like so, my resume worked for 2 companies, so I don't have to change it. That's the thing.
Yeah. Especially, I need to say this because so many of my friends are currently facing this issue. If you have a plan to go abroad, say a non-English speaking country, like for example, say Germany, then you cannot, learning German is very essential if you need to go to Germany for your higher education. You cannot learn a German language overnight or in 1 week or in 5 days. You need to practice it, from an earlier on period, like from the first year or second year, third year, and not at all on your final year. Okay, no, a night before you decide to apply for Germany. No, it's a long process. So that's why I said the resume preparation starts from the time you decide to learn something. Or
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't like do a 5 hour course in Udemy to learn Germany, because like if you want to ask some doubts to your professor and you mess that up, then you'll be a funny element in the class. So, so why I'm saying Germany is that like most people find due to financial reasons, they find countries like US not approachable. I'm saying US education is expensive. Not everyone can get scholarships. Okay, it's very, very, very competitive, because at least what I saw is that the cream students in India and across the world go to US. In a university, at least like I'm happy to say, at least I'm proud to say that my university is ranked fourth in the US when it comes to engineering. So when you go into that kind of college, your friends will be brilliant students, the cream students from top institutes in India and across the world. So, and a lot of them, some of them might be lucky enough to get scholarships. France, okay, France, okay, good question. I don't think I don't. Who asked that question? Let me check. Who asked that question? Aishwarya. Okay, Aishwarya. I appreciate your confidence of asking all these questions. Okay, first of all, okay, France. I don't think when it comes to engineering, France is a good option. But if you are talking about MBA, yes, there's a top college in France. I think there is one. I forgot its name. I think Adi, you know it, right?
yeah, easier.
Ah, yes. If you are into fashion designing, of course the France and all these kind of things make sense. If you want to be a good chef, of course French food. HEC Paris.
HEC Paris. Yeah, sorry. Actually, it was HEC Paris.
What was the other one you mentioned?
INSCAD, INSEAD.
Oh, INSEAD. That's also in France, right? INSEAD, right?
Yeah, INSEAD. It's I guess it's in France too.
Oh, it's top rank. It's like equivalent of Harvard in Europe.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Okay, so
actually, we both learned A1 French together, right?
oh yeah, that's a funny thing. Yeah, we both learned from Goethe Institute, right? Goethe Institute in Trivandrum. Yeah, I mean,
Both is for Germany. Alliance is for France.
Oh, the French.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Alliance France. Yes. That was also a good experience. Okay, the French. Okay, the French is an interesting language to learn. Okay, more than German, I feel like French is more fancier and like more interesting to speak. Than, even though they are not advanced when it comes to engineering, but the French people are well known across US and all the world. Okay, so talking French adds up to your appeal, social appeal to others.
So, participants, do you have any more questions? The time is running out.
I think Aishwarya has some more questions.
Please, Aishwarya, please.
Come on, Aishwarya, you can do it. MBA HEC Paris. Okay, if you talk about MBA schools in US, Wharton School of Business, where Sundar Pichai studied, or Harvard Business School, where Mahindra studied, Ratan Tata studied. Harvard, all these kind of schools, or at least I went to attend a class at the Harvard Business School. Okay, what happened? When I saw is that what I saw there is that the people there, at least the students there, are sponsored by the companies. So in US, like you need to at least spend around like 1.5 to 2 crores for your MBA if you are getting from a good B school like Stanford or Harvard or something like that. So most people can't afford that. Even if you are a well-off family, 2 crores is a lot of money. So what they do is that the companies invest on these kind of students, and it's the companies who sponsor these for MBAs and not the students sponsoring themselves.
If we are going to talk about masters and MBA, I guess we need another.
Webinar. Okay, guys, let Adi know. Okay, if you want a webinar like that talks about MBA, GRE, GMAT, all the, because Adi wrote GMAT and I wrote GRE, so we both can comment upon that. Yes, we need a session. Okay, of course. Awesome. Adi, is there any feedback or something like that for the participants?
Yeah, there is. We will be sending them across.
Oh, okay, guys, like do feel okay. Most people, I'm pretty lazy when it comes to filling feedbacks, even for my college. So do fill in feedback, because that's how I know how well or bad I performed, or how many sessions, how many more sessions we need to host together. So do fill out the fill out the feedback, even if it's good or bad. Okay, we won't judge you. Okay, we are not putting a score on you. Okay, you can't attend the next meeting or something like that. It's just for our peace of mind that we need that feedback from you. Okay.
If,
Is in Aishwarya anymore, or is there anyone? Or I'm just specifying Aishwarya because like she's the smartest one in this.
yeah,
Maybe I don't know. Aishwarya, like where you're from? Like you are in Trivandrum, or like you're from GCB or some other college? Or like open up, like.
she's an MBA student. You might have understood from the question she asked.
Oh yeah, LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn. One second. Oh, you can follow me in LinkedIn. I'm not active in LinkedIn, but I try to update my profile. Oh, GC button. Okay, awesome.
Great.
Oh, great. Okay, so you are seeing both seniors here right now. I am doing masters and Adi is an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur, but Adi now is an entrepreneur. So, yep, I put up the LinkedIn in chat box. You can just follow me or connect me. I'm active, but I'm not. I don't post that much, but I'm active. Okay, so if you want to, okay, we can host another session. Okay, regarding masters and the things. Um, uh, and okay, so the typical example of a CV, if you check my LinkedIn, that will be like a CV. Okay, it has everything, and my resume will be one page.
I should say this: if you update your LinkedIn, you can actually make a resume from LinkedIn. There is an option, but you should be updated. Like you should update your LinkedIn.
You can download, but what I found is that it has some kind of bugs, Adi. Like sometimes it won't show the whole resume, so that's why I won't suggest to people. But it works. It works. LinkedIn, okay, that LinkedIn is the new Facebook, Instagram, and all these things. Okay, if you are not in LinkedIn and if you don't even have a DP in LinkedIn, nobody's gonna look at you. And post some pictures that you took in wedding or something as your DP. Okay, make it professional. Even my picture, I don't have a good professional picture right now. I'm not saying mine is the best, but add a good one as your DP, because DP makes a lot of difference. And
again, Abhinav, LinkedIn is another session. Like
LinkedIn is another ball game. LinkedIn is another thing. Okay, LinkedIn. I've been using LinkedIn for almost like 5 years right now, and I was pretty active during college as well. I'm still active because at least in US, the whole thing is based on your network. So if you have a good network, then you can get jobs, referrals, everything. So make a good LinkedIn profile is a must thing to do rather than a choice here.
So Abhinav, I guess we are running out of time.
Oh yes.
So if you guys have no more questions, then I guess it's time to express our gratitude.
Okay, regarding that, Aishwarya, Adi wrote GMAT and all these things. So if you can directly ask him if related to GMAT, MBA things. He applied for Yale and all these kind of universities. So he knows. And if you guys have more related to engineering, just shoot the questions to Adi. Okay, he can direct that to me and I can answer it.
Yeah, feel free.
Feel free to do it. Okay, just use this. Anyway, we are conducting a free session and make use of it. I used to attend a lot of webinars back in those days, so I know how effective it is. It's don't do it for a certification. Okay, I used to do it. Don't do it. That's what I learned the hard way. Okay, you just attend webinars, or I know people who just do a language course just to get 50 points from university.
Anyway, so let's wind up.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I express my sincere gratitude. I know you are in town right now and you are leaving to US in next day or tomorrow day after.
2 days. Yep.
Yeah. So you must be busy. I know that, yet you find time for our students, our participants. So thank you first of all, Abhinav, and you cleared all the doubts. You told your experience. You shared your experience. So we need you again for another webinars, just like, for the sake of people like Aishwarya, we need another different set of webinars on different things. And I'll be coordinating with you on that. And I guess we can schedule on the suitable timings.
Thanks, Adi, for that opportunity. And thanks, thanks people who showed up for this meeting. Okay, really appreciate your time. makes a lot of difference. I hope that you learned something from this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adi, you want to say something? Add on to something? Oh.
I also thank the participants, for spending your 1 hour with us. And that's all from my side. So shall we wind up, Abhinav?
Yeah, we can, of course.
Okay. Thank you all. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.